G'day mates, in today's video I want to kick off with the unfortunate topic that hacking is basically killing no-build competitive Fortnite. I also want to talk about the Solo Cup Finals as well as the Elite Finals. We now basically have two duos that I would argue are undeniably the best duos on EU and NAE East after this week's results. We also saw Clix return to peak form and he's honestly looking some of the best he's ever looked in solos and duos. I also want to finish off today's video with some hilarious clips from the tournaments over the last few days. There's a lot to cover. Let's just jump into it. I'm sorry if my voice is a little bit funny for this video. I just finished a 36-hour stream yesterday on my Twitch channel. It was super fun, but I'm still recovering a little bit. I wanted to kick off today's video talking about cheaters, and I really try to avoid talking about hackers for the most part. I've talked about them a little bit in the past, but I've always found that quite often with cheaters, when they know they're not going to get prize money, when they know they're eventually going to get banned, most often they just do it for attention, or they do it to ruin other people's time, and making a big deal about that kind of just makes them win. But it's gotten too bad at this point. I have not been able to cover any content on zero build competitive or talk about who's winning and who's doing well, because every single leaderboard seems to be riddled with cheaters. You do better in the tournament based on the luck of how long you can go without running into hackers. And now I'm seeing clips like this and they're not getting banned. I have no clue what's going on with the anti-cheat. And I know quite often making content talking about how bad the anti-cheat is probably leads to a rise of cheaters, but I honestly don't know how it can get worse at this point. It's every single tournament. I think I experienced one single hacker or cheater in my entire Fortnite career up until this chapter, and I've ran into 8. So I had 1 or 0, I'm not really sure, in 4 years. And now I've gotten 8 in like a month. It's gotten really, really bad. I don't know if Epic needs to make major improvements to their anti-cheat. I think it would be fantastic for them to hire someone who is just on deck, ready to ban cheaters, at least during major cash money tournaments. You guys can tell, any of you can tell when someone's cheating in a tournament. They get 70 kills in like 3 minutes and their game is over. They're shooting DMRs through the ground. They're flying around on motorbikes. Like, it's not hard to tell they're cheating, and you shouldn't need approval to then just instantly perma-ban that person. It's not like I'm saying ban people if they hit a couple headshots in a row with a scar. I mean when they're literally teleporting around the map, shooting into the ground, getting 50 kills. It's pretty obvious. And the problem with zero builds competitive right now is you don't know who's winning any of the tournaments because they're always cheaters on the top. And even when there's tournaments where the cheater doesn't win, you know they've taken out someone who could have earned money, and that already then just ruins the competitive integrity of the tournament. So I also want to make this to apologize for not covering no build competitive too much. It just feels like all I'm going to do is talking about which team either avoided the cheater or which team cheated. I know I keep talking about no builds. You're probably wondering why are all the cheaters in no builds, and honestly, I'm wondering the same thing too. I don't know if it's just an anti-cheat thing. You're probably thinking, oh, it's because in no builds they can't block the bullets, so it's easier to beat them. No, when I was getting stream sniped by a cheater, they were shooting bullets through the ground that I could not dodge. I could be inside a cone, inside a wall, I could be inside a castle, behind 17 layers of metal. They would still hit me. So it's not about the builds. I don't know why all the cheaters are in no builds. I genuinely have no answer for that. Like I said, outside of the no builds, the build tournaments have been super exciting, and this week was no exception. We had the solo victory cups again, and despite my original expectation that, you know, some pros would be able to win 5, 6 of these matches, we are still at the maximum wins of 3 in the finals across every region. We had some notable performances this week. We had Vacant actually win 3 in a row on stream in his first 3 games, and then got a 2nd place in his 4th game, but then unfortunately after that struggled to find the same consistency. So we've only had 2 people in EU get 3 wins total. On NA East, we only had 1 person do it this week, despite a few people last week. And I know I just spent a lot of time talking about how there's not as many cheaters or hackers in builds. I haven't seen this pro before. They haven't had a lot of events played. They weren't like straight up spin botting hacking. They could just be a random up and coming pro I've never heard of, and they happen to make their name knockoff centered. But I always get a little bit suspicious when I've never seen them and they've never played a tournament, and then the first tournament they play, they become the best player in NA East. We did have some other notable performances though. We had Pump get 2 wins, we had Yuz get 2 wins, and I want to give a specific shout out to Yuz for a few reasons. Firstly, he came first, second, fourth, second, so ridiculous consistency there. But Yuz is also doing this almost every single game without a hammer and he does it on like 40 to 50 ping. And I've just been bringing back my guide videos, and I'm honestly thinking I might hit up a Yuz VOD review. Let me know in the comments down below if you want it. It would be a great way for a lot of you guys who are on higher ping. I know some of you are going to hit me. I play in South Africa. I have 3000 ping, but 40 to 50 ping is still considered high for most high tier competitive players. So let me know if you want that VOD review. I think it would be an exciting one. And not just the finals though, at least on NA East in the opens, we had a very notable finish from Clips, 230 points. He played 8 matches and won 4 of them. Again, it was opens, but Clips was playing phenomenal. And then he went on in the finals to also get 1 win. He also got a 2nd place and 2 fifths. So he's been playing very, very well in solos. And honestly, if you've been watching Clips' streams for the last couple days, I think it's fair to say Clips is back in like peak form, potentially better form than I've ever seen him. The only other time I think I've seen Clips this consistently dominant was during World Cup qualifiers. Looking at the Elite Weekly Cup Finals, we do have 2 front-running duos for the most consistent or best duo in EU and NA East right now. We have Queasy and Vino coming out in first place on 345 points, almost 100 points clear of second. Remember, last week they actually came second by 1 elimination, so Queasy and Vino's consistency right now is insane. Last week, Queasy was using the double barrel low grab strategy, which got them 2 second places, so I was interested to see how they would go with that strategy now being vaulted. It would appear they play even better without it. They got a 4 elim 5th, a 2 elim 30th, but then a 6 elim win, 4 elim 3rd, 3 elim 5th, and 4 elim 4th. They are playing insanely consistently. One of the best duos, as always, at high ground, but especially impressive in the current meta with the hammers. A lot of people struggling to hold high ground. Queasy and Vino are not one of them. But big shout out to second place, Mustache and Tayson. You probably haven't seen Tayson on a leaderboard in a hot minute, and I've started to hear those conversations. Oh, he's washed, he's not grinding. He's just been contested in like every major tournament we've had for such a long time, and this was no exception. They were contested again, but they still got a 251 point second place. They're contested at North Slappy for anyone who's curious, but they got a 13 elim win in their last game to clutch up second, pretty much almost all their points in a single game basically, and it was down to the fact that they got a clean wipe off spawn. They managed to take down the team contesting them, and it was pretty much the only game we got to see them play out as a full normal clean game, and they popped off. So definitely don't forget about Mustache and Tayson, even if you're not seeing them on leaderboards as much. If they get a drop spot uncontested, they are going to be absolutely lethal. We had the other half of the Malabuka Mustache duo of Malabuka and Thomas HD in 3rd, just getting beaten out by 3 points. They had a good last game, a 3 elim 7th, but compared to that insane game from Tayson's team, it wasn't enough to keep them up there. We had Refsguard and Hellfire also playing really, really well, getting a win on the day and a 3rd place. Then we had Vanyak and Kami in 5th, and then Hen and Anas in 6th. Now, I want to shout out Hen and Anas specifically because I have never seen a team do so well with the worst loot ever. Like, if you love or hate augments, you have to be impressed with how Hen and Anas were using them. They're actually contested at the farms right now by Kami and Seti, and they were walking away with like absolute sticks and stones loadouts, and between like bush warrior perks and jelly perks and like dead side water boat rotates, they somehow managed to pull off a 6th place. They were actually in 2nd place going into the last game before they got a 1 elim 33rd, so their worst game in their last game. But I wanted to give a shout out to them because I've never seen a team do so much with so little. Moving on to NA East, we had an insanely close finish. It was so exciting coming down to the very last game, but Iomzo and Rise came out on top on 351 points, getting a 5 elim win in their last game to clutch it up. Now remember, Iomzo and Rise are now back-to-back 100% win rate in the Elite Cup Finals. They are our front runner for the best and most consistent duo in NA East right now, but they did only win by 2 points, so half an elimination over Peterbot and Booga, and this was Peterbot and Booga's first Elite Cup Finals because last week they didn't make it because they were late to getting to Elite, but their first time in a set lobby final taking it seriously. And I mentioned that because we've seen them play smaller tournaments or scrims, but they never really seem like they're trying that much. They did insanely well. Peterbot did tweet out that that was one of his biggest throws going down early in game 6. We had Booga clutch it up, but the 4 elim 11 just wasn't enough. It is worth noting this is also Peterbot and Booga's first performance while being uncontested at Slappy. Acorn and Cold have decided to stop contesting them, as I think a lot of people predicted, and we are down so bad with the current competitive map that Acorn has gone to Twitter to claim whatever the next POI is that comes out. I think most people assuming that tomorrow's update will bring some kind of major map changes, or at least some point before FNCS will get some new POIs or some new locations, and that's where Acorn wants to go, because currently There's no drops on the map. This is the least amount of loot we've ever seen on a competitive map, and the pros are feeling it. So Acorn and Cold do not want to contest Peterbot and Booger, but they've got nowhere else to go. We also had Threats and Macwood coming in third place. There was a pretty massive gap. It was a 2-horse race at the top between Yomzo and Peterbot's team, but Threats and Macwood played really, really well. And then I want to give a shout out to Casca and Clarity, who were in second place until the last couple games. They got a 1 Elim 13th and a 1 Elim 16th, but I think they are the most underrated team on NA right now. Probably one of the most underrated teams in the world. They've been playing really, really consistent, really good Fortnite, so I'm excited to see how they go in FNCS. And then we had Miro and Edgy, no surprise there, in 5th place. As is now tradition, as you guys love these, I want to show you a few amazing clips from the tournaments over the last few days, and I want to kick it off with our first ever sky-based win in the Solo Victory Cup Finals. This isn't a balloon strat. We have balloons vaulted. We have glider redeploy vaulted right now, but we managed to see EMXR, one of the French pros, win from a sky base. Inspired by Bucky. Bucky's sky bases are very specific. They're the above the cloud sky bases. Oh, this is actually working, bro. Top 4. Yeah. He's on the moon. Come on. Frenchies do it different, bro. How's he gonna cancel it? Wait, is this gonna slam? It's 1v1. Slam him. No.
Je suis le goat. Je suis le goat. Je suis le goat, mon pote.
$100 in the sky base, bro. MXR. We had a lot of excitement. We had a lot of celebration from MXR, but I want to flip onto the other side of the spectrum with Snacky, who took desk slamming to a whole new level in the Solo Cup. If you played the Cup, do you think you would place this? No. Is he?
No mames, otra vez me pasa lo mismo, güey. Siempre. No. Nunca voy a ganar. No.
Did he just stand on the desk? We had Muz showing just how ridiculous the hammer drop trick is if you can get it down well.
That's Siphon. Okay, ready? I'm doing it on low ground. Full box?
Oh!
Full box?
No! I wonder where they went. How has he not killed any of these people? Nice.
Can slam 200'd.
Oh no. Holy, he just full grief cam. No. Right, hammer drop him. Hammer drop him. Do it. For the culture. Oh my god, the confidence. 1v1. Oh no.
Wait, it's 100? I'm crazy. 12 kill win. I told you I'd do it for you, Aussie Antics and Gabriel. All of you. I'm crazy. I'm the best in the world. Let's go.
As you're probably noticing is a lot of the trend here, sometimes you win more of the solo games when you don't try as hard, and I think On1 had one of the most, I don't want to say anticlimactic because he was pretty excited, but one of the weirdest ways to close out a 1v1 for $100. He just didn't care.
Yo, chill, night, chillin'. Stop hammering, bro. Stop hammering. Chill. What is you doing?
I never knew On1's accent was this thick. What is he doing?
What? Dynamic? Oh, hell no.
1v1. Oh?
Jump in for the $100 chat.
Wait, what?
Get the W's rolling. Get the W's rolling. Full box 200. Oh! W first skin, you know what I'm saying? W.
On1.
Hey, first game win, you know what I'm saying? Back that I always do it.
On1's such a troll, bro. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please chuck a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.